we detected an unusual trade worth $10 million on Bath and Body Works stock, ticker symbol BBWI. But here's what makes this even more interesting. Bath and Body Works reports earnings in a few weeks on August 28th. And so, in this video, we'll break down this unusual options activity to figure out whether this wealthy investor is going bullish and buying, expecting the stock to move higher, or bearish and selling, expecting it to drop lower. Because as we all know, the rich have more access to exclusive research and information, sometimes even leaked insider information, giving them an edge to make better, smarter financial decisions. This is how smart money always stays one step ahead, well before the rest of the market catches on. No wonder the rich get richer. And so, to level the playing field, let's dive into the unusual options activity to gain insights from the rich so that our subscribers and members can profit from this deep knowledge too. As we can see here on the options time and sales tape, at first glance, nothing stands out because the rich tries to hide what they're doing. But beneath the surface, our system detected something unusual. So we filtered out the noise, removed all the other expiration dates, and focused in on the September 12th options. We can then see more clearly that on August 1st, around 12:04 p.m. and 10:46 a.m., a series of trades all targeting the September 12th options at the 30-strike calls and the 26-strike puts. Many contracts were being traded for these same options. But what does it all mean? Is this option strategy a long bullish bet or a short bearish move? And more importantly, is this investor opening a brand new position or closing an old one? Because if they're closing contracts, it might suggest concern or a loss of conviction. In that case, it might not be the right time for us to jump in. But if they're opening new contracts, that could signal a fresh opportunity and one we may want to act on. So let's take a closer look at the data on the options chain for the September 12th contracts. At the 26-strike puts, we can see volume spiked to over 4,000 contracts, while open interest was previously at 0. That clearly indicates new positions being opened. Similarly, at the 30-strike calls, volume jumped to 5,000 contracts, again with no prior open interest. So this tells us this wealthy investor opened new contracts in both options, because you can't close out thousands of contracts if none existed before. We always take this extra step to confirm the data at a deeper level, because many other websites and scanners don't. They report all high-volume unusual trades without filtering out closing trades, which leads to wrong results and losses for those following unusual option activity. And that is why we have more winning trades than other websites. And in this case, our deeper analysis confirmed it. This was a new trade opened by this wealthy investor, not a closing trade. So now, with that confirmation, let's set up their options strategy to see which sentiment and stock direction this wealthy investor is betting on. And so, based on our deeper research and analysis of supporting data, we found that this wealthy investor sold these 26-strike put options, collecting premium to buy these 30-strike calls, setting up a more sophisticated option strategy, which we can analyze here using the risk profile graph, where the profit or loss shows up here, and the x-axis represents the share price of the stock, while the y-axis represents the amount of profit or loss. Note the zero break-even line over here. And so, when the purple line, which represents the current date, and the blue line, which represents the option's expiration date, are trading above this zero break-even line, as the share price goes up, this trade becomes more positive, more profitable. And as the share price goes down, this trade becomes more negative, more loss. That's because this wealthy investor is going long, bullish on Bath and Body Works stock with this option strategy. We can also verify that by checking the options Greeks. This trade has a positive delta, which means it's positioned long and bullish. If it was a short bearish trade, we would see a negative delta instead. But notice how this trade would not necessarily result in much of a loss if the stock goes down because of a built-in hedge. That's why you can see the blue line staying flat along the zero break-even level, all the way down to the $26 share price. That's because this investor sold the $26 strike put options as part of a cash-secured option strategy, essentially signaling they're willing to own 100 shares of the stock at the $26 strike price. That means each put options contract sold required $2,600 of buying power. So, to estimate the total trade size, we multiply this buying power by the number of put options sold, around 4,000 contracts, which equals approximately $10 million required for this unusual trade. But keep in mind, just because a trade is large does not necessarily mean it has a high probability of success. In fact, this one carries more risk than the smaller, more selective trades we share on our website. And so, if you want to get access to the lower risk trades with a higher probability of profit, then go to our website. We'll link it right up here. Keep in mind that our members also get earlier access to trades like this before anyone else, even before we share it with the public. So if you're tired of being late and want more time to act on these opportunities, just head over to our website, where you can see in real time when and which stocks wealthy investors are trading on Wall Street, so that you can have the same opportunities as the rich. Because if the rich get richer, why shouldn't you? Now, with that said, even though this trade is higher risk, we still took it, but we used position sizing and a slightly different strategy to manage our risk. And so, if we go back to the options time and sales tape, for these September 12 options, we bought these 30 strike call options for a price of $1.35 each. Keep in mind that options prices are shown here on a per share basis, and each options contract controls 100 shares of stock. So to get the actual dollar cost of one contract, just multiply the price by 100 or simply move the decimal 2 places to the right. That means an options price of $1.35 equals $135 per contract. And so, as you can see here on the option chain, for the September 12th options at the 30 strike calls, we got into the same position here, marked as POS, which stands for our position, and the green color indicates a buy position. And notice how we do not have a position at the 26 strike puts. We did not sell the put options because it requires a lot more capital, $2,600 per contract, making it more difficult to manage risk by position sizing. And that is why we only bought the 30 strike calls for $135 each, the same price as we saw earlier on the options time and sales tape. And so, when we analyze our trade, you can see here on the risk profile graph, as the share price goes up, our trade becomes more positive, profitable, because this is also a long bullish trade. We can confirm that by checking the options Greeks. This trade also has a positive delta, but keep in mind the risk with this trade, it has a negative theta, which means it loses value over time due to time decay. And that is why you can see here the purple line drops down lower to the blue line as we approach the option's expiration date. Since these options lose value through time, the break even on this trade moves higher as time goes on. And so you can see here, even though the call options we bought have a strike price of $30, the stock needs to trade above $31.35 per share for this trade to be profitable at expiration. Because of this added risk, along with other factors, we only took a small position in this trade. We don't invest a lot of capital into these higher risk trades. Instead, we focus most of our capital on lower risk, higher probability of profit trades, the kind of trades we share on our website. We'll put a link to our website here, where you can also learn more strategies to boost your profits. Let us know in the comments. Do you think Bath and Body Works stock will move higher or drop lower? As always, please like, subscribe, and until next time, let's keep tracking the trades of the rich so everyday investors can profit too. Take care and have a wonderful day.